and let us all do we can to build a better future. All right, so looks like there's talk about somebody potentially primarying Joe Biden. No, I'm not talking about Marianne Williamson or RFK Jr., but it's quite clear the Democrats have a problem with their old dog, Joe, 30330. So first shot at the case study QB. He is being censored on Phoenix. That's what I'm calling Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. I'm not going to call it Twitter. I'm going to combine the bird and the X and call it Phoenix. It's a good marketing idea. So he posted a viral fire. It's not viral yet, but it should be. He posted some good fire on his Phoenix account discussing pro-business Democrat Dean Phillips. Oh, hey, pro-business. Because heaven forbid, we haven't seen enough of those. Shout out again to Case Study QB. Let's play it. Somebody primarying Joe Biden. It looks like they're looking for a replacement. And no, it ain't going to be Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg.
Dean Phillips, congressman from Minnesota. I have thoughts on this, but I am intrigued by yours in terms of who Dean Phillips is, how he's thought of inside the House Republican caucus or House Democratic caucus.
I know that we both know who Dean Phillips is, Phil, because we've covered Congress. I've talked to Dean Phillips a number of times, but I mentioned his name to a relative who does not live anywhere near DC, and they said, who, yesterday? I don't think that he has any name recognition outside of DC. Among the Democratic caucus, he is certainly respected, and they feel as though he's a very serious lawmaker for the short time that he's been in Congress. He's someone that helped make their majority a few years ago when they were in the majority in the House. But a lot of Democrats that I talk to are more concerned about third-party candidates versus someone challenging Joe Biden within the primary. They're concerned about...
So have you heard of this guy? This pro-business guy? Who, what, where, when? Name recognition. I mean, come on, Democrats. Look, I remember the 2020 primary, how you guys were hesitant in supporting Joe Biden. You kept on throwing anything at the wall and see what could stick. You had Bet on My Stork. You had Pete Buttigieg. You had the Klobuchar. You had Kamala. I mean, you even had Bloomberg join in. Yeah, how'd that work out? You all went right back to Biden.
Candidates like Cornel West and having a Jill Stein effect, similar to 2016, when we saw that really made the big difference in those key swing states and ultimately contributed to Hillary Clinton's loss.
Michaela, looking at it more broadly, not about can Dean Phillips win a nomination if he were to go up against Biden, but about the fact that here you have him, a former businessman from Minnesota turned politician who has spoken out against Biden on a number of things. This isn't new. I wasn't shocked when I saw this. But you have him. You have Joe Manchin. You have whatever No Labels is going to do.
No Labels is centrist and corporatist, okay? Listen, if you're a Republican voter or Democratic voter, you think about going third party, don't go to No Labels, okay? Listen. You don't have to like what I say on this show. You don't have to like my commentary or my opinion or when I report on things or talk about issues. But listen, just hear me out. Hear me out on this one. No Labels is filled with centrist, corporatist Democrats. They're not pragmatic. They're owned by corporations and lobby groups. They really don't like you, okay? So if you want to look at third parties, look at Greens, okay? Look at some of the local independent parties in your community. And look, hey, listen. If you're not a progressive or, left-leaning, then you know what? Go ahead, look at the Libertarians. Fine, go ahead, look at them. But don't get associated with No Labels, okay? It's Democrat and Republican little think tank, okay? It's just stay away from it. It's bad news bears.
To do. What does this all combined mean for Biden?
Yeah, I certainly agree with Laura that the bigger issue is these third-party candidates. But the fact that a sitting lawmaker would challenge President Biden is certainly significant. It would signal a breakdown in the Democratic Party, the fact that someone would feel comfortable enough to challenge the president. And what Dean Phillips is bringing up here is something that I hear from voters a lot, which is there's still hesitation about Biden because of his age.
Yes, because of his age. Also, shout out to Roger Meadows, who posted a super chat, $2. Jill won no electoral college votes. It's as if she wasn't in the race. That's right. Now, look, let me play you, all you corporatists, jagoffs on CNN, all you vote blue no matter who, folks, the world's smallest violin. No, I don't have the sound effects. I need to get a soundboard. Shout out to Reef Breland of INN who has a soundboard. But here, see that? Little violin. I don't care. Go ahead and cry. I'm not voting for the Democrats, okay? Simple as that. 1, 2, 3. But here, let's pull up another little post that Case Study QB posted on Phoenix. Another fire hit. Let's talk about it, because again, hey, look, pro-business Democrats meeting with donors in New York State, hinting at a run on BSD&C because, oh yeah, that's a great idea. More pro-business, pro-corporatist is what they're trying to say to you.
Can we talk about the sort of problems that might arise if with not a third party candidate, but let's say an alternative Democratic candidate?
Not like as though Marianne or RFK Jr. is in the race, but okay, hey, they got another wild card in the race.
In your column, talk about Dean Phillips, but yes, could be anyone. The calendar is a problem, right?
And yes, this is a very ugly jacket. You don't wear a jacket like that for an interview. It's got to be a solid color. God, I'm already offended by him.
Yes. At some point, you vote. At some point, you hold primaries. At some point, the party settles on a candidate. There is something unique about this cycle with Democrats in that, Iowa, New Hampshire may go ahead of South Carolina in a sanctioned fashion. Can you just talk about sort of the landscape here and what a potential challenger to Biden might have to face?
Yeah, no, we were talking about the general election a minute ago. Let's talk about the Democratic primary for now. Congressman Dean Phillips, who's the third-term suburban Minnesota Democrat, sort of a moderate pro-business Democrat who used to be a business executive before he came to Congress, is actually going to be in New York City this week. I reported meeting with Democratic donors who, like a lot of Republican donors, are trying to find somebody who they find more appealing than their current front runner. I'm skeptical that Phillips will ultimately go through with it, but I think what he's trying to do, Sam, is break the ice.
No, what he's trying to do is build a political career for himself and see if maybe some Democratic donors will bite and the DNC will realize, hey, yeah, Biden's got a lot of scandals flying around him. His son, Hunter, is turning the White House into the White Witch House. Was that booger sugar? I'm sorry if that offends people. I don't care. You're vote blue no matter who. The guy who's going to return the soul back to America, the soul back to this country. Yeah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's over. Y'all lost. And it's pretty pathetic seeing a lot of these vote blue no matter who people still hold on to this audacity of hope of Bidenomics and, the country is so much better now. Good luck.
And break the ice now, this summer, because to your point, the window is closing for another Democrat to get into the race. First of all,
also, someone in the chat, hold on, I got to say it. Dabby Dab says, Ryan Grimm cut this dude's hair. Like wearing a plaid jacket, no tie. Can you be a little more professional, sir?
Well, you have filing deadlines to get into the race. That's a challenge. And so that's coming up. So it has to be this fall. If you're going to have a real Democratic challenge, it's got to be this fall. Real fast, though, the opportunity is in New Hampshire because Biden probably isn't going to be on the ballot there, but it's still going to be covered. So can some kind of a Democratic challenger to Biden get on the ballot in New Hampshire and get some kind of a bounce from that? It's very unlikely, but if it's going to happen, if there's going to be a serious challenge to Biden, it's got to happen this fall.
Of course, the snafu in New Hampshire over the primary calendar with the president and his team wanting South Carolina to go first, much to the dismay of those in the Granite State. Politico's
But hang on. Let's talk about how a donor base is interested in funding a third-party candidate if Donald Trump is the nominee for the GOP. That's right. Another great post from Case Study QB on Phoenix, posting all that great fire. And yes, I'm calling Twitter Phoenix. I'm not calling it X. Combine the bird and the X into Phoenix, having it rise from the ashes.
You talked about the donor base in relation to the populist wing of the Republican Party. Would that donor base be interested in funding a third party candidate if Donald Trump is the nominee of the party?
Well, I think it's a really good question. You know, in 2015, 2016, a lot of Republican donors talked about the idea that they're never going to support Trump, that he's not good for the party, and they eventually came around. And I'm still not convinced, and I think Donald Trump actually looks at it like this, and he said this to people, that, listen, you might as well jump on board now because I'm going to win, and you know you're going to back me eventually, so just cut the cord and get it over with already. I think things would be different this time. I think the one thing that has changed is that I think donors actually have come to understand how far their money can go, where it can be effective, where it isn't effective. This isn't true for all. Some, as I reported for the Dispatch Politics newsletter, like to get in early. They got in early for Nikki Haley's super PAC, and they're a little bit more entrepreneurial, as they like to say. But for others, they would be looking at how effective their investment could be. So I think they would listen to third-party appeals. They would like to think that they can have an outcome that would, you know, help the right and help block Trump. But I don't think they would pour money down the drain, if you will. I think you'd have to see a very compelling third-party candidate with a PAC.
Yeah, so there's a third-party candidate already in the race who's got name recognition, a following, as well as a lot of progressives and independents. And dare I say it, I'll go a step further, even conservatives who will vote for him and support him. His name is Dr. Cornel West. We're working to get him back on the show sometime in September. Hopefully we can get that squared away. But look, he's in the race running for the Green Party nomination, which, let's face it, he's going to be a powerhouse. He's got Dr. Jill Stein, Chris Hedges, and Kashama Sawant, and so many other people supporting him and uplifting his campaign. I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. Hopefully, it will be the moment in our history where we see a third-party candidate actually win an electoral college vote. Yes, I want to see the Green Party get recognized. I want to see that happen. But hey, BSDNC, are you ever going to really acknowledge the true power of Dr. Cornel West and his appeal? Because again, 50% of Americans identify themselves as independents. That's right. Vote blue no matter who, or diehard red Republicans. Your time is coming to an end. Join us. It's a lot of fun here. Become an independent. Trust me on it. It'll be a lot of fun.
For the broad community of donors who oppose Trump to get on board with something like that. And Jonathan did a really good job with that column. I don't think we know yet how that looks because we have an electoral college system.
All these people are mediocre.
And it's not just about chipping away at the popular vote numbers. It's about chipping away at numbers with.
The only person of any relevance is Donald Trump. Okay, he's going to listen. Let's say for a moment he walks away from this indictment, right? Y'all do realize he's going to win it, right? The Republican nomination. I mean, I'm not going to sit and be like, oh, maybe Trump's going to lose. No. I will be surprised if he loses. And no, this ain't an endorsement of Trump, but you could tell corporate media is afraid because they know for a fact that, number one, Biden is weak. They know for a fact, number two, that with this Trump indictment, they need him for the views. Trump's going to walk away from this.
Within states. And if you pour money into a candidate who's going to take money away from President Biden, let's say, or not put votes behind a candidate who can actually win electoral votes, then your money isn't doing anything other than affecting the outcome you're trying to avoid in the first place.
So how should we end this segment? I mean, let's face it. Maybe Democrats still have hope in their guy. When you have campaign videos like this that are 9 seconds long, the cringe is all too real. A cup of Joe never tasted better. Just looking at this face, I know he's not all there. There's nothing in that coffee mug, by the way. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there.
I like my coffee dark.
Listen, I don't think we're gonna make it as a species. I think we had a good run on this planet. So good night and good luck. Because I think 2024 is going to be one crazy wild ride. And remember, I was praying and hoping that this would be an intense and electrifying election cycle. Just be ready for the amount of stupidity, folks. Don't let it depress you. Keep your heads on a swivel. I want all of you lovely people to keep on winning. But it's going to get crazier and crazier because we live in a crazy world. Stay tuned to Hard Lens Media.